The following podcast is brought to you by the Geeks 2 Network, and all opinions are those of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's time to talk wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. I am joined, as always, by my producer, the icon of idiocy, Ike Isaacs.
You know, you call me the icon of idiocy, but you're the one that ruined the last two takes.
I don't care. That's right. This is our third take of the opening.
So
just because I'm so excited.
You're so pumped.
I'm so excited for the show. This is a good show. Good episode.
This is a very good episode. I'm very excited.
So before we get into it, let's first thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And please continue to support, spread the word however you listen. If it's on iTunes, please subscribe to us. Please rate and review us. Share the episodes. If it's on SoundCloud, follow us and share. And if it's on YouTube, like it, share it, subscribe to us.
Yes,
get with the times and listen.
Don't
listen to a podcast on iTunes, but we put it out there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We've got it everywhere, man. Like, you can go on either for Twitters, Facebooks. Just get on there, and you can find them there, too. I mean, we provide all the links and everything.
Yep. You can find links direct to the different methods of our episodes and all of our social media by visiting davedynasty.com. So if you remember nothing else, just remember davedynasty.com. You can find everything there. Links to everything.
It's so easy that you idiots can even figure it out. Seriously, though.
When I designed davedynasty.com, I designed it with Ike Isaacs in mind.
Oh, did you?
I thought, how could he not screw this up and find what he needs?
I figured you made it with all of your fans in mind, because they're all kind of dumb.
Well, if I made it easy, it's just because I put them through the torture of listening to you every week.
Yeah.
So I felt bad. Yeah,
you're just like, oh yeah, man, they got to make it easy on them since they're listening.
That's right, listening to you, Ike, you.
If you say so,
I do say so. It's my show. It's done.
Is it really your show though?
It is. My name is on the marquee.
But do you walk in McDonald's and is there someone named McDonald there?
Maybe if the clown's there that day.
Don't even start about clowns now, man. All this stuff's going around. I think they pulled all the clowns out of those stores. They're like, oh man, they're one of them getting a shot, you know.
Not in Mexico. Yeah. They're still wrestling down there.
Good old clowns in Mexico.
That's all right, though. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit us up on those things. Help spread the word. This thing's booming. Listeners are going up. Things are going well. Continue to help. We appreciate it. And, hey, while you're out there perusing the internet, make sure you visit our sponsor, LuchaMaskUSA.com, for all your Lucha Libre needs. Very cool site. The holiday season's coming up. You got to have a Lucha fan on the list. Go to LuchaMaskUSA.com. Hit them up. Buy something cool.
They're really cool, though.
They are very cool.
Very neato.
In the coming weeks, they are sending us some swag to give away.
Swag. Why do you call it swag?
I'm trying to speak like you guys with your mangled language and your made-up words.
Yo, I don't say swag. That's not my thing.
Because you have none. Hey, Ike, we got a good episode this week, though.
We do, actually. We have a really good episode this week.
And we're actually doing things a little differently because there will be no headlines. There's not going to be any Q&A today.
Nope.
What we have is a ginormous interview. I won't even call it an interview, just a discussion, a chat with one of the brightest young talents in the industry, Mr. Cole Radrick.
Cole Radrick, man. He's brilliant. Unfortunately for your listeners, they don't get to hear me speak a lot this episode.
It was great.
But I was there for when we recorded the interview, and it was fantastic.
More people you could literally physically hear people jumping on board to listen more because they're like, well, hey, Ike's not going to be on it.
Well, hey, if you got some dumb people, I mean, all your fans are stupid.
I do. One of them is a producer of the show.
No. All your fans are stupid, all right? All of them are dumb, okay? But there are a few that are less stupid because they like listening to me. They think that my Q&As and my witty comebacks and my insults are intelligent because their small minds can handle it. So it happens. There are always a few that like me.
It happens, and so does shit. So,
well, shit does happen.
It does. And sometimes it works as producers on podcasts.
Hey, Remember, you asked me to be on this
Because you work cheap.
because you're too old to know how to work this stuff.
Screw you. So anyway, yeah, we're altering the format of the show. And the reason we're doing that is because this interview or this discussion with Cole was the first one we did face-to-face. It wasn't over phone, wasn't over Skype. It was an actual face-to-face. And we literally talked for an hour.
Oh, yes.
So instead of a 20 to 30-minute interview, we got an hour-long discussion. And we don't feel like cutting it into 2 parts or anything like that. We're just going to let the whole thing ramble today.
Because you have to listen to it in its entirety.
We talk about all kinds of stuff, all kinds of things. It's a good listen. And it's coming up. Yeah, it's going to be great. So, so check us out. Subscribe to us and follow us online. Check out luchamaskusa.com. And right after this break, we will have that discussion, that talk with Mr. Cole Radrick. Stick around.
Visit luchamaskusa.com for official high-quality lucha masks and merchandise, straight from the luchadors themselves. They have a huge and always growing inventory, so check back often. That's luchamaskusa.com.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am sitting here with my trained monkey, Ike. And Cole Radrick is joining us. Hello, Mr. Cole.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Doing great. So this is pretty cool. This is our first in-person interview. No phone, no Skype.
Thank God. Those are the worst kinds of interviews.
Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary. So, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? It's been a few months since we've seen each other. We chatted a little on Facebook, but
Yeah, we chat here and there, but like, I think the downtown show was the last time we seen each other.
yeah, it was my last show.
Your last show. I've just wrestling. I went back to IWA, and I've, been to New Jersey and all these different other places.
Very cool, very cool. So for people that don't know you, because we have listeners all over the world, believe it or not, contrary to having Ike involved in the show, he doesn't kill us that much. We have listeners all over the world. So tell people about Cole Radrick. Let's start with, when did Cole Radrick first become hooked on wrestling?
See, that's a good question because I can't really put like a time frame on it. All I know is I think it was like 2004. If I had to like throw a dart, because the Undertaker just had his like DVD come out and it was on DirecTV.
So out of curiosity, how old were you in 2004?
I was 7.
7.
I was 7 in
Oh
2004.
my Lord. Okay, so you were 7 in
Yes.
2004, watching The Undertaker.
Watching the Undertaker. My parents actually bought the pay-per-view the Undertaker's DVD was on because I was annoying them so much, and they were like, "We'll just put this on." And like this dark, creepy dude was like very mysterious, and I got really caught up in it. And then like it just snowballed from there. I got a couple I got a toy Chris Benoit and Jimmy Snuka, which are relatable.
Like all the violent wrestlers that have crimes against them,
Of all the violent wrestlers,
suspected murderers. We won't go into.
We won't.
Benoit
Yeah,
thing,
we
'cause
won't
I have
go
my
into
own
that.
stance on the Benoit thing.
Yeah,
I think Snook is a murderer though, just for the
Yeah.
record. But
Snuka definitely did it. Benoit, I'm dead set that Benoit was in it, so
Yeah,
no
sounds
charges. But I
that's
digress.
another podcast.
That is another podcast, which I will.
So which
probably
Undertaker was it in 2004?
It was when he was transitioning from American Badass back to like the Dead Man, because like this was when he like took that small break and then he came back at 20 and he wrestled I think Kane. Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure he wrestled Kane at 20.
Okay.
But like it was just talking about his transition and whatnot.
So how did you see the Undertaker? So your parents weren't fans.
My
They
parents,
didn't watch.
no.
So how did you? Just kids at school or something, or
Well,
how did you come across it? If
that's the thing. I don't remember. Like,
Oh, wow.
I only my first memory is just
it's not very
watch-
interesting if you don't remember. The
I
details.
know it's interesting with it as itself because I don't know where it started. My brother and my sister watched it when like it was Raw, it was War, and like very like when I was like 3 or 4 because that's about
So they're older than you.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm the youngest in my family,
Okay.
but yeah, I just can't really pinpoint. Like 2004, 2003 is when I understood what wrestling was and started to watch it.
Okay. So did it hook you from the beginning though? I mean, you said it just started snowballing, so it would just.
Yeah.
Did it ever fade? Did you
Um,
ever have that period? Most people have it, when they get in, in their teens and
Yeah.
other interests. I mean, did it fade for you too, like most people, or because at that time, you're not very old. You were starting to train.
Yeah.
When a lot of people get that waning period,
Yeah.
you were actually diving into the career.
Yeah. See, let's say I was 7. I was 7. So from the time I was like 7 years old, which would have been what, first grade for most kids, it became my life until I was about 7th grade, and then everybody's like, oh, it's it is what it is. It's not what it's all made out to be. And at that time, like, so many people were just like ragging on it. I was like, okay, I'll just not tell people I'm a fan. So like I didn't let it die down, but I became less interested. I became a big comic book guy. But like from 7th grade to 8th grade, I had that transition of it's just wrestling. I'm not really big into it. And then I was like, screw that. Like I like what I like. So I just watched more and more of it, which is when I discovered what independent wrestling was. In 8th grade, I was like, I saw guys like J.C. Bailey, Colt Cabana, Sammy Callahan, which for anybody that knows me or even watches one of my matches can tell I have a very heavy influence.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sammy soon.
We'll definitely talk about Sammy soon. But like anybody that's like seen me like knows that I have that big Sammy influence. So like that's when I discovered, and that's when I even fell more in love with wrestling, because when I discovered independent wrestling was when I discovered that I could become a wrestler one day. So yeah, I faded out, but like you can't ever forget something that's became your whole life.
Okay, so how old were you when you trained with New Wave Pro, right?
Yes,
and Michael Guest, right?
Yes,
up around where you're from, right?
Yeah, Terre Haute, which is about 45 minutes from my house.
So how old were you then when you started with him?
I actually started training before New Wave Pro, which is something that a lot of people don't know. When I was,
you're not going to tell me you were like a trampoline guy and all that, are you? I'm just joking. Go ahead.
But there was a small independent company in my own town that ran at a place that was literally 3 minutes walking distance from my house, which I thought was the coolest thing. It's now defunct. It was called Independent Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
It was run by a guy named Dustin Decapitator Jones, which he's not really a named guy.
I've never heard of him.
And a lot of people haven't. Let's just say there's a very good reason for that. Not burying the guy, but like there's a good reason. And like he brought in guys like Jimmy Jacobs once, and then like GT Vega. That GT Vega was the main guy. And I was like, and I told him, I was like, hey, I want to become a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler. And he goes, all right, well you can start ring announcing for me. I was like, okay, cool. So I ring announced, and like he always tell me, wait till you're 16. So my 16th birthday came around, and he's like, $500 gets you trained. All right, cool. So I gave him $500 the day I turned 16. $500 cash, that of my own money, I might add. The guy trains me 3 times in his backyard in a ring that was podunky. Was a ring that was utter shit. That had leaves in it, that had like horrendous smells. But at that time, I was just like, this is what I want to do. So, you're not going to tell a kid he can't, do what he wants. They never hear from the guy again. Well,
did he move or something, or
he just happened? Disappeared.
Like completely gone. Like did you show up one day and he just wasn't there? The ring was gone and everything.
Yeah. Well, kind of somewhat. Like he would never answer my calls, never answer my texts, never ran another show. I see him every now and then in my town, and I always rub in like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this. Oh yeah, because he wasn't a 40-mile guy. He was a 5-mile guy because the building was 5 minutes from his house. So, but the only thing that good came out from that was I met Don Leachin, or Donnie Tsunami for those who don't know, who ran Infinity Pro. Yep. Well, through Donnie Tsunami, I met Mikey Guess when I was 17, because I did actually have a period when I did fade out of wrestling. I forgot to mention by the time I was like 16, the time I was 17.
Okay, so this guy, which this is a common story.
Yes.
There are so many con artists in wrestling.
Very.
And it's part of the reason that guys, there's this uphill battle, and why it's hard to book buildings and why it's hard to do all kinds of things because of these guys.
Yes.
And so you're 16, you have all this passion and desire.
Yes.
Guy takes your money, screws you, and almost killed it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
that, I don't know how many times that story's been told.
I was so anti-wrestling for a good 6 months. Like, I didn't want anything to do with it. Like, my buddies would always say, hey, let's go to this show. Let's go to this show. Like,
Were you just afraid that was it? That's what was out there? That's how it was. Everybody was just trying to take your money.
I was afraid that was my only shot at getting in.
Okay.
That was what I thought it was like. I was like, I had this one shot.
So how'd you meet Donnie? Where'd you meet him at?
I got one of my buddies from back in the day, Bailey Combs, was a wrestler named Drew Lycos, who's now no longer, wrestling. He was like, hey, I got a booking up in Infinity Pro, the Grand Tournament 2012. He's like, you want to come on up? I was like, sure. And he's like, this is Donnie Tsunami. If you want to get trained, he's the guy to go to. He's starting his own dojo soon. So I was like, oh, awesome, And me and Donnie became like best friends. He's one of my mentors. And I was like, there was a day, the Grand Tournament was like the last show for a very long time for Infinity Pro. Yeah. For I believe, 2 years because they ran 2014 because I've been wrestling for almost 2 years now. So like for 2 years they were gone. Well, when they were gone, I always hit up Donnie. Hey man, when are you starting that training school of yours? It'll be a while. I was like, okay. Well, then he ran Do or Die, and which was the first independent wrestling show I went to in 2 years. You know, it was first anything wrestling I watched for like a year, and I was like, oh shit, like this is awesome. Like, because I was used to like the wrist locks for 20 minutes, the headlocks.
What kind of guys were on that show?
On which one? The Do or Die?
Yeah,
the Young Dragons, I believe all of them were. Because Dale did a dive off a scaffold, which he's still a crazy motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the language
was it
is
just
on this. But
Donnie's usual guys? I mean,
yeah, Donnie's usual guys. I think the main event was Mannix versus Vega. I think
was Havoc on there. Brett Havoc.
Brett Havoc was on there.
Kind of guys.
Brett went over in the first match.
Was he using the Painkillers?
Yeah, Painkillers were there, which Painkillers are my favorite independent tag team, but one of them is no longer wrestling.
Okay, so you're bugging Donnie. You go to one of Donnie's shows.
Yes.
And still bugging him, still hitting him up.
Still hitting him up. The first show back, I was like, oh shit, this is what am I doing? You know, like, why am I not doing this? This is something I love and you can't get rid of, no matter how often I tried to at that point in my life. So I was like, I told Donnie, I was like, hey man, where can I go get trained? And he goes, there's a guy named Billy Rock. He's like, it's about 2 hours from where you live. And he's like, and he trains. He's one of the top, trainers. I was like, awesome. Well, I was like, how much? He's like, well, it's like I forget how much he said. I was like 1,000, like 2,000, somewhere in between. I don't want to say something wrong because Billy has his own price. And I was just like, ugh. I'm 17. I go to school. I work a part-time job, and I travel a lot. That doesn't leave me with a lot of living money. He goes, okay, well, maybe there's a guy named New Wave Pro, Mikey Guess. He's actually sitting over there. You can go talk to him. All right, cool. So I went up to Mikey, I introduced myself, and I was like, hey, I trained for a little bit. I want to be a wrestler. Where are you at? Or like, what can I do? He goes, well, I'm in Terre Haute. I go, yeah, that's like a short drive for me. He goes, oh, yeah, okay. He's like, we have a $25 tryout fee and then $10 a session after that, which I don't know if that's still the price, but for me, that's what it was. I go, all right, cool. I was like, when can I start? He's like, well, you can try out. I was like, okay. So I tried out, and he's like, oh, so you do know how to bump, and you know how to do all these things. He's like, okay. And after that, it just started snowballing. I trained like for, I think about 6 months, or like 4 or 5 months, because I started like December, but it really on a weekly basis until January, and I debuted May 5th. I had my official debut May 5th, and I had my first match the day after my prom, actually, and a day after I had a car crash.
So both with New Wave Pro, right? Both
with yeah.
Shots. Okay.
Both with
so
New
who was your first opponent?
Was a triple threat match with Spencer Wallace and TJ Fantastic at a birthday show in front of like 10 kids and 5 parents who could not care more for wrestling, but they had fun. So and the birthday kid went over in the battle royal. So
birthday kid went over. Oh, only in independent wrestling. That is great.
Yeah, independent wrestling at its finest.
Okay, so then did you work for New Wave? You kept working for them for a while, or
actually?
So when was this? We're talking. What time are we talking?
We are talking May of 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, because I debuted in August for Emerge that month.
And it was Donnie who told me about you.
Tsunami?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, I don't usually plug people, but if you're looking for a young guy, talk to this kid.
Yeah. Which that alone, getting even booked on Emerge was a hassle, if you remember correctly.
Yes.
Because we were contemplating having to change my name.
Right, because
Wave,
yeah.
If we want to get into
that.
But
that all worked out, right? I mean, you buried that. You're back with working some for New Wave
yeah,
again.
Yeah. So I had a period of I wrestled. New Wave was my only bookings. I didn't really reach out because I didn't know how they felt about it. I wrestled the Shriner show. I wrestled a show after I took an SAT on June 6th, which I have a really good memory for dates, by the way. I don't know why. For June 6th, I wrestled. And I wrestled June 24th in my hometown. So I had 3 shows with New Wave Pro. And then they go, well, right now we really don't have anything for you. They're like, just come to training and whatever. And I go, I want to wrestle. Well, I'm linked up with Donnie Simpson, who's Hillbilly Jed, one of the guys I've looked up to for a long time. And I hooked up with 8-Bit Punk Damian Cole. And then I met you. And it was all like in Fuji Brown. It was all within that time period where like, hey, if you want to come up to the show, you can. I was like, oh.
Do you know the weird Fuji Brown Dave Dynasty story?
I have never heard of
the
it.
weird Fuji Brown Donnie Idol Dave Dynasty story?
I've never heard of it.
When I was wrestling, Donnie came in when he debuted at Hoosier Pro.
Oh gosh.
He was my little brother and he managed me. He was Donald Dynasty. There are pictures. Look them up.
Oh my
and then he
God.
transitioned and started wrestling some. And we were still kind of doing this Dynasty brother thing, right?
Yeah.
And Hoosier Pro had this wild idea that for some reason they wanted us to be like the Dudleys. He wanted us to have all these guys. So he brought Fuji in was Dion Dynasty.
Dion. Oh
And it lasted
God.
one show and we didn't like it. And me and Donnie, we turned on him and blah, blah, blah. And then me and Donnie ended up battling over the name, which I won. That's when he turned to Donnie Idol and did his own thing. And then we ended up teaming again later. It's a whole thing.
The question being is, did you put Fuji through a table? That is the question everybody wants to know. That I would have paid money.
I was adamantly against the Devon or the Dudley thing. Not because I didn't like the Dudleys. That's not what I wanted to do. I played the rich, spoiled guy kid thing, and it didn't.
Didn't work.
Why would my father be out sleeping with all these women?
Because he's rich. That's what rich people do.
I guess.
If I was rich, you'd have
I guess.
no idea.
But yeah, so that's all. That's how we all.
But so
Lots
like,
of great Hoosier Pro stories from back in the day.
oh god.
I have to tell that on the podcast sometimes. Some of my memories. So anyway,
So I had a period where like it was actually the night of my hometown show, which was June 24th, which was the third show. I had a lot of guys. You messaged me, Fuji messaged me, and I think Hellboy Jed messaged me all in one night. Hey, you want to come wrestle? And I'm like, I haven't asked Mikey, who is my head trainer and the owner of New Wave Pro. I was like, I haven't asked Mikey. And I was like, hey, I hit up Donnie Strong. I was like, look, here's what I'm questioning what I should do. I basically got told there's nothing for me. They said they want to like give me a few because they wanted to do something with me and Blake Reed, but I wouldn't have a real wrestling role until like September. Do I hold off and say, hey guys, I can't take these bookings, or do I go out? And what it included was a weekly booking at WO every Friday night. And so I was like, man, you got to go out there. He's like, that's the only really way to learn is to travel a lot. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I took the booking on August 22nd for Fuji. I took the booking on August 8th for Emerge. And I took the booking for, I think, July 16th for New Era. All without telling Mikey. Well, Fuji posted the flyer, and Mikey was like, oh, well, you should have asked, but it's okay. It's not on the same show. And then I was like, all right, whatever. It's on the same day of one of his shows. And then, but we were questioning, how to tell him that I had a booking with Emerge. And me and you were like, well, maybe we can just change my name. I've only had 3 matches. And we came up with...
yeah, we actually rattled off names. Didn't
we rattled off a whole bunch of names. Like, Aaron Cole was one of them. And you're like... we have a guy named Damian Cole. I was like, well, shit, there goes that idea. And I was like, Cole R for some reason was one of them, which is funny now because it's Cody R. And, it's just funny. So we had all these,
and I think
different
basically
things.
you just said, screw it. Let's just do it. I don't care.
At the end of the day, me and Mikey got into it, and I was just like, look, I have to go out there and wrestle. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love doing. I'm going to go wrestle. I was like...
But I'm assuming you came up with the Cole Radrick.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I came up with Cole,
right.
Cole Radrick, which was funny because, how...
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
I'm assuming I know where the Cole came from.
Where?
Because you're a fellow Adam Cole mark.
I am an Adam Cole mark.
So did it not come from Adam Cole?
No, it didn't.
I'm disappointed.
I'm
going to believe that it came from Adam Cole. So where did Cole come from?
just a name.
Just a name. Okay.
Just a name.
Same with Radrick. Nothing.
Yeah. I think
so that was disappointing. There was no story there.
There is no story. I get called Adam Cole Roderick Strong, as a full name by Jonathan and whatnot. It's no, I am an Adam Cole mark, and I'm not really a big Roderick Strong guy. He's a great wrestler, but I've never watched him, if that makes sense. I've never fully dove into him.
Roderick is to me, he's the Arn Anderson of the modern day. He's so good, so consistent. He just does not. I don't think he gets his due. But it's probably because he's, he didn't have this overbearing personality. I don't know, whatever. Go ahead.
So, the name just came to me one day, which I still don't know where it came from. But, I remember I was like, if I ever wrestle, and this is actually in 2014 when I came up with it because it was on one of my time hop deals. Weird, right? So, but, I was watching that, and I was watching, PWG, and I was like, there's this guy named Adam Cole. Well, shit. And I was like, and the very next match was Roderick Strong. I was like, well, this might cause an issue. And so it does get constantly brought up nowadays because it was either that or I wanted to go by Mayday and have a mask gimmick. And I don't know why, but I was obsessed with the idea. I was like, just go by Mayday. And I was like, it would be such a cool name.
Is this the comic thing? Because you're a Deadshot.
I am a
right? So
huge
I wonder
Deadshot
if it
fan.
has something to do with that, maybe.
Yeah, it was
Spawning
like
off the comic book stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna have a one mask, like an eye covered.
And then Luke Lawson came years later and tweaked it. And,
Luke Lawson ran with it. Like I cannot beat that. Like he has the gun and he has the light up eye patch. Like I can't beat that.
pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. And I've seen a lot of people try to like copy it, and I'm just like, nah, man. Like Luke did it. Like I do like Mr. 450's Super Saiyan deal. Like, but Luke Lawson's is pretty my favorite out of all of them.
So you had the falling out with Mikey.
Yes.
And you start taking other bookings, right?
Yes.
And I mean, it's just been balls to the wall since then, right? I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're working 3 nights a week now, sometimes 4, but I mean, it's 3 consistently, right? Because you're working
IWA.
Thursdays IWA, Fridays WCWO, and then your Saturday bookings,
Or
which could be wherever, right? So, and you said you're getting out there, right? You've been to Jersey.
I've been to New Jersey. I've been to Atlanta. Did a tryout for AWE. Tennessee, Ohio for Rockstar Pro and Ludus. And I've done Illinois a couple shows.
So who'd you work for in New Jersey?
I did it wasn't really a match. It was more of a run-in, but I did it with Game Changer Wrestling like last month or whatever.
So who'd you go out there with?
It was me, Reed Bentley, Sage Phillips, John Wayne Murdoch were the guys that went out there and did the...
Okay, so how'd you get in with IWA Mid-South? Just through those guys? I mean...
I grew... when I was in the ICW, I met JC Ron, which is Ian Rod's kid, and we kind of bonded over like mutual love of wrestling, and so like we just kind of like kept up with each other over the years. And like he saw I became a wrestler, he's like, "Man, just come on down." He's like, "There's Corporal Robinson running a show with Furious Wrestling Society." He's like, "If you do good, I can try to get you in at IWA." So I did the Furious bit, and I did a 6-man, which everybody knows how scramble matches usually end up. And then I was like, "Okay, well." JC hits me up. He's like, November 8th, you want to do IWA? Hell yeah, why not? Let's do it. So I did IWA Mid-South, and I actually wrestled him against that. And then that was my last IWA show until I did that one off, and then I came back like late July, early August of this year.
So your first IWA was November 8th of last year.
Yes.
And here you are. It's almost a year later to the date.
Yes.
And you're looking at potentially making TPI, the Ted Petty Invitational.
Yes.
You've gotten an IWA title shot, right? You've wrestled JJ for the title one.
Yes.
So here we go. Now let's go with you've wrestled Sammy Callahan.
Yes.
We'll go back to Sammy, and that was on the anniversary show, right?
Yeah.
So
just a few weeks ago.
So how did you find out about that? Who contacted? Was it JC?
About the Sammy
that you were
match?
wrestling Sammy.
It
When
was-
did you first hear that?
I did a seven-man scramble, and against like Ray Waddell and everybody else, and like Ray Waddell, Shad Satu, Randy West, and I choked out. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think I choked out Corey Storm, and like I went to go get out of the ring, and here comes Ian Rotten walking towards me, and I go, "Oh shit! I probably screwed something up." He's going to because Ian Rotten, like I don't care what anybody says, Ian Rotten is a really nice guy. He's a good guy, and he's just, I think he gets a bad rep for no reason whatsoever, or for reasons that a lot of people may not know the whole story on.
Yep. The wrestling business is weird, right? And it's relationships are weird.
Yeah,
and you hear one side of a story, and that's what it is what it is. People don't get along. There's differences. There's problems.
Yeah.
And those things get blown out of proportion. But
oh yeah.
I mean, the guy's been doing it at a high level for a long time.
Yeah.
He's wrestled at even a higher level. I mean,
yeah.
You got to give him props for what he's done. I mean,
yeah.
But anyway, go ahead. So
Ian
came out.
Ian's walking towards me. I thought, man, I did something wrong. And he pulled me out of the ring, and this is in front of everybody. He goes, Cole, he's like, you're good. He's like, you're good. You're not great. You're not very good, but you're good. He's like, for where you're at, you're all right. He's like, I'm stuck with the decision of making a dream match, and that's where like something clicked for me. I was like, where's this motherfucker going with this story? He's like, I either have a dream match, or I can make, he's like, I can make an indie dream match and sell DVDs, or I can build a lifetime relationship. And I go, okay. And like I'm starting to like get that little grin I always get. And I'm just like kind of not really smug, but I'm just like excited. I'm trying to keep it calm. And he goes, you see on the anniversary show, you get your dream match. And he's like, you get to wrestle Sami Callihan. And I freaked. I was like, oh shit, so this is what I've been building for. Like, this is my dream match I've had since I was like 14, discovered independent wrestling. I was like, this is what I've wanted. Like, this is awesome. So that was like first time, like, it was after the match, straight up, like, nobody told me, everybody kayfabed me on it. Ian comes up to me, hey man, you get your dream match, Sami Callihan. That was the same night Jonathan learned he was wrestling Chris Hero.
Right.
So I was just like, fuck yeah, like, put me in, coach. That's what I want.
So, okay, so then let's fast forward to the night you wrestled Sami.
Okay.
So what was that like?
See, like, I thought it would be, I wasn't nervous. You know, like, and everybody's like, you know, you're being really quiet. You know, why are you nervous? And I was just like, I'm not. I was more ready, like, because a lot of people don't know, like, I dropped a lot of weight. Like, I've worked out, you know. I dropped a lot of weight because Sami, like, I don't want to say reignited, but, like, showed me, like, oh, I'm not just, you know, milling around like I thought I was. You know, like, this is a big match for me to prove something, and, like, I was coming in on my A game. So for a solid, like, 2 months, I think I had, like, before the match itself, it was, like, preparation. So it's like an MMA fighter. Like, they're getting ready for the training and whatnot. By the time it comes to the fight, they're not nervous. They're ready to show what they did. That's what it was like for me. Like, I wasn't nervous. I looked at them and I was like, you know, I'm excited for this. This is what I've wanted, you know. So when it came time to the match, like, I was just cold, if that makes sense.
So did he say anything to you after the match? Did he give you feedback? Was it positive?
Yeah, he was. He was very happy with it. You know, he's like not a lot. He did because he put me in the corner and he probably faced me, and he goes, not a lot of people stand straight up to me after that. And I stood straight up to him nose to nose, like, yeah, I'm not backing down off something that I've wanted. You know what I mean? He's like, not a lot of people have the balls to, like, do that because he's like, he's a name. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what anybody says, Sami Callihan is a name. So when he pie faced me, I got in his face. He's like, that takes balls. Not a lot of people will do that. So I think I earned a little bit of respect from him from doing that. And he had a lot of positive feedback. He's like, you know, you're not afraid to throw hard and not afraid to give what you get. You know what I mean? So I didn't hear anything bad at all.
So when I talked to Ace Perry, he spoke of in IWA also when he wrestled Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah.
He did that thing with him. And he said before that he was having this thing of he was asking a lot of questions. Why, you know, how come I'm not accomplishing more? Why am I here? And then he said he got the Jacobs thing, and in his mind it clicks. Hey, I can do this. I can do it at the next level. I can. You know, I just hung with Jimmy Jacobs, and
yeah.
Did that help with you? Did you feel that when you got done? He's like, you know, hey, I can, because I know you've committed to this.
Yes.
You've committed to taking this and taking your chance and going as far as you can. Did it come from that? Did that help?
Yeah.
Coming out of that thinking, hey, you know what? This guy's been there.
Yeah.
He walked away from it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's been everywhere. I mean,
yeah.
Freaking wrestled everybody.
Yeah. And
you just hung with him. Did that? And, I mean, you're only, 2 years into the business?
Less than 2 years.
Right.
I'm like a year and 3 months. A year, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah, like, I had a lot of, like, before that I was like, you know, am I made for this? Like, and because there was never a question, you know, if I wanted to be a wrestler, because I've always known I wanted to be a wrestler. But I was like, I can connect with Ace because I was like, am I doing the right thing? You know, I didn't go to college for this. Like, I skipped college. Like, because I wanted to wrestle, college wouldn't let me wrestle as much as I were to be halfway successful. I was like, so that was letting me know, like, maybe I did make the right choice because being able to hang with somebody on that caliber means a lot. And so, like, at the second I got done wrestling Callihan, I was like, screw it. I hung with one of the best. Nobody can ever take that away from me.
So one thing that people that know you that I've always noticed, you do doubt yourself a lot.
Very much so.
Is that always been? Where does that come from?
Just depression, man. Depression.
I mean,
anxiety.
you've battled that your whole life. I mean, through everything you've done, it's always been, I don't know if I can do this. I don't. But it doesn't stop you, right? I mean,
it's a
how
shadow.
how hard a fight is it?
It's a shadow, like, and I've never really had it like until I was like 16, 17, like. When I want to think right around the time where I first got screwed over, was like, man, maybe this isn't, you know, for my life. And so, like, I'm always battling up a question of, am I doing the right thing? And I'm always second guessing, you know, oh, I took this booking, okay, but isn't there another booking or something else that I should be doing instead? And then so it's like, you know, why? And of course, everybody has a question. You know, what do I live for? And after the Callahan match, I was like, I live for this. And so it is a battle. And like I question, you know, whether I truly have friends, because I don't have a lot of friends. Anybody that wrestles, like, especially at a young age, you travel a lot. If you take it seriously, you have no friends. Like, I have Jonathan Wolf, my roommate, Sean Kemp, and a couple other guys, and that's like, and I would say easily less than 5 true friends that I talk to on a daily basis, or on a semi-regular basis. So like it's like, you know, there's constantly loneliness, constantly isolated, constantly on a road where you have too much time to think about anything in the world.
But that's the business, right?
That is the business.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend a lot of time in a car and in these weird ass rooms changing clothes and everything else. I mean, it's sometimes it's totally different guys everywhere. You know, you get 3 nights in a row, it could be not the same face in the locker room.
Yeah.
So it is weird like that. I mean, but does it ever get to the point where you think, maybe it'd just be easier if I didn't?
Didn't wrestle?
Yeah. Or does the passion outweigh it enough that you,
you know,
I mean, is it ever a struggle? Do you ever think, you know what, maybe it would just be easier? Or do you love it enough that you say, screw it, you know, I'm going to do it or die?
Going to bite the bull, fight or die. Yeah.
Right, fight or die. That's what
I'm going to poke the bear with the stick.
Sorry, I tried to plug the
Do or die, Chip Day.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Chip's a good guy. You know, there was quite recently, actually, I'll say that, you know, I had a 3 or 4 day span of, why am I doing this? Like, because I have a lot of sleeping issues. I have sleepless depression. And so, like, I was up one night, I was like, why the hell do I do this? You know, I beat up my body. I'm young, and, like, my neck hurts, my back hurts. Like, not to a point of, like, worrying, but, like, you know, just general soreness. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? And there's, like, you know, why is this? What am I doing correctly? Like, I screwed going to a decently good college at Indiana State. I ruined a relationship that I thought, you know, was something that was meant to be, which, you know, shitty people are shitty people.
Yes, they are.
And I'm not necessarily talking about her, but I'm just talking about the surrounding events. So, like, it's just questions because, like, it's straining on everything. Like, my personal, like, you know, I don't see my family much. You know, I work literally 50 hours a week, but I also wrestled 3 times, so I'm working 50-hour shifts in the span of 4 days. So, like, it just leaves me very exhausted at a very, like, multiple times a week, basically all the time. But there are nights
when you have the Callahan moments.
When I have the Callahan moments,
those that say to you, okay, that's why I do it.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Yes,
and now you. I mean, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, what's my next Callahan moment?
Oh,
TPI.
yeah.
Could it be TPI?
Yes.
I mean, you know that those goals. When you hit those, that's when the day to day, week to week, it's tough.
Yeah.
But then when you hit those moments, you're like, hell, that's why I do it. You know, working for that.
And I actually had one of those moments, like, you know, just being in the ring with Shigehiro Irie,
right, yeah.
And Jonathan, you know, my best friend and a guy that I would have never met if it wasn't through wrestling. I was like,
so let's talk about it's EDA, right?
EDA.
That's how you say it. I butchered it the last time I tried to say it to you.
Yeah,
EDA, right?
Like EDA.
EDA. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, right? He came over to the States.
Yes.
And was this set up by DDT, or was it just one of those things, those excursions they do?
Yeah, it was like DDT sent him out. It's like, hey, go to the United States.
And he hooked up with Colt, right? Cabana in Chicago.
Yes.
He started out staying with him.
Yes.
And he had all these bookings.
Yeah.
He did
in the month of
a booking
August.
for Joey at WC. Is that how you started? WCWO? Where you had to
he had a booking for, I believe it was IWA first.
Okay. And that's where you picked him up.
Yes.
When you went up and got him.
Me and Jonathan went and picked him up.
Okay. So your first encounter was picking him up in Chicago and driving, 5 hours?
4
hours.
Well, he stayed the night because I picked him up on a Wednesday.
Okay.
He stayed the night at Kids.
Okay, so you didn't drive straight back. Okay.
No, God, I would have shot myself. Like, I love driving, but I would have shot myself. So, like, we picked him up. I got off work, and I picked up Jonathan at WCWO at 5 o'clock, and we decided, hey, let's go pick him up.
He struggles with English.
He had struggled with English.
Right. And you know a little Japanese, I'm assuming, right? You seem to have a little bit.
I did not have anything.
Not even before meeting him. Okay.
No.
So there's this language barrier.
Yes.
But there was wrestling. and now this guy and you are close.
You're
I mean, right?
close.
You're thousands of miles away from each other now.
Yeah,
but you had this thing, right? And it's all because of wrestling.
Yeah. And
how weird is it I mean, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
The people that come together because of this. I mean, who would have thought? I
Yeah.
mean, you probably just thought you were driving a guy down,
Yeah.
doing a solid for IWA.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you worked a lot with him.
Oh, yeah.
And then towards the end of his stay, you kind of had this cool moment where you and Jonathan guys did the Young Guns thing,
Yes.
which he went over in
Yes.
a final with you and Jonathan
A match that he
that he wanted,
Yeah,
right?
that was
because
his-
you told me before,
Yeah.
about that match.
Yeah,
because we were talking about booking him,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Speaking of
Talking
Adam
about the
Cole.
Adam Cole.
yeah, that's my ringtone. And so yeah, because you had mentioned that match to me before,
Yeah.
that he wanted to do something with you and Jonathan.
Yeah, that was his one requested match.
Yeah.
Besides Chris Hero and Eddie Kingston, he was like, I want to wrestle you and Jonathan at the
Yep.
same time. I go, I might be able to make that happen.
And you got it. It was
Yes.
this cool moment. Got you in a Japanese newspaper.
Yes.
So-
Japanese wrestling magazine also.
Yeah, okay. Was that the magazine that you
I
posted?
believe- yeah,
Was
it
that
was a
Okay, I
magazine.
didn't know what it was. So, how cool is it though that just because how many guys out there would have said, "Screw it, I'm not driving to Chicago to pick this guy up. I'm
Yeah.
not going." But that's what happens when you put in the work and you do these things,
Yeah.
right? And to me, that's the cool thing about wrestling is these freaking relationships,
Yeah.
these weird ass relationships.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, you meet people. So I mean, that you'd have never met him.
No, I would
I
have
mean-
never heard of him if I didn't. I'll be honest. Like I never watched him in DD. I never watched I watched Joey Ryan's bits in DDTs, but like I never really heard of the guy until I met him, and I'm like, oh, it's this crazy, green-haired Mohawk guy. So, oh, somebody's joining us. You're all good. We had just had somebody walk in the building.
Yeah. She heard green weird ass Mohawk guy. And so
Yeah, she heard a weird green ass Mohawk Japanese guy, and she got worried.
And who knows where that might. Now you have this connection in Japan. So you have this connection in Japan. Where do you? I just doubled it up. So who knows where that'll go, right? I mean, you never know because everybody I've talked to, Tripp, Ace, Totelli, everybody I've ever talked to, their immediate goal, one of their big goals is overseas,
Yes.
wherever it might be.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Everybody has these lists, right? And I think you did a list, right?
I did a list. Callahan
Cody
was
Rhodes
at-
list, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes list.
So-
Callahan was at the top.
So don't worry about the list, but let's just talk. We're closing out 2016. We're
Okay.
looking at 2017.
All right.
What are some goals that you have for this next year?
I want to do a tryout for Ring of Honor, which
Okay.
this is a goal. Like, because they do the tryout camps, I want to go to one.
Okay.
I want to do a tryout for Ring of Honor. I want to do something on the East Coast, like an actual big show, which I don't know if you count West Virginia, but that looks like it's going to be in the works.
Okay.
For Nova Pro. I want to go. I just want to travel more often. That's where I'm at. Like, I love wrestling because I love traveling. I love, riding out with Gage and Luke and Mance, even though Mance is a raging psychopath. I like traveling out with those guys. And so, that's another one of those Sammy moments that I live for, is just all those memories. So, I just want my roads list, I guess, or whatever list I would have is the Ring of Honor tryout, just traveling more. This might, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I want to be either I want to be the Outbreak champion or I want to be the Emerge champion, because I don't know, it's just something like Emerge was the company, besides New Era, was the company I basically feel like I
I
started
don't
out
have
with.
a hand in this decision.
Oh, I know. This is why
Kissing up to him. He's not gonna.
No, I'm not kissing up to you,
I don't
but-
have a vote anymore.
No, that's fine. But here's the thing: I can talk to you openly about this now.
Yep.
I could say there are guys in Emerge, and I feel like you would agree that I put in a lot of work for Emerge.
Yep.
I'm always the first one to ask you, what do you need?
Yep.
I'll ask, what's needed of me when you're in it, rather. What do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? Is this okay? That okay? So I feel like, if I had a run with one of those and I was like, hey, you got this opportunity, go out there and prove it, I feel like I could. And I love Emerge. I loved everything Emerge ever stood for. It was basically the young guys and got just a different style than what this area had seen.
Yep.
So that was my deal. That's one of the goals I had. That's just being a champion. And that kind of makes me sound like a belt mark, but not. It's just
But see, that's the thing, and people say that, people say, "Oh, it doesn't mean anything, right?"
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah.
Because you don't put as a promoter, I'm a former promoter.
Yes.
You don't put a belt on a guy that you can't trust.
Exactly.
The guy that's not going to help you, that's not going to plug you, that's not going to help. You just don't. You put that's the guys you know. That's that was always the worst thing. And I know Donnie and Ricky agree. I hate guys that you book them, you give them matches, and they can't even share stuff on social media. And it just, I mean, it seems so little, but it's like every time, all you got to do is click share, and it helps. It networks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you always think, oh, the guy won't share, then what's he going to do for me? And, and it's like, so yeah, I mean, I've heard people say that word, but it does matter. It's a lot for a company, no matter what it is, to have that faith.
Yeah.
To say, hey, you're the guy.
Yeah.
Head us up and do what see what you can do.
Even Christopher Daniels plugged a merge after he wrestled. Like, it's not that hard. Christopher Daniels could have just been like, oh, yeah, I came in, got my money, had a match.
Yeah, of all
left.
people, he didn't have to.
He didn't have to, and he plugged the show. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, nobody's ever too good to plug a show.
No, he was great because he was. I was like, I felt so bad because I was like, hey, Mr. Daniels, would you cut a little promo for us in video? It's like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll never see that. Like 2 days later, it was, oh, is that good? Do you want me to redo it? I'm like, God, you're fucking Christopher Daniels. I don't want you to redo it.
You could be sitting on a toilet
Yeah.
shitting, and that is so old.
Yeah, and I'm like, he did, and I gave him an Emerge shirt the night of the show, and later I wanted him to put it on and do a plug for the website. And he was all about it, and then he's like, oh, hey, man, I got kind of a Ring of Honor exclusive deal. I can't really do it.
Wear a shirt or something?
He's like, I can't really plug another. I'm like, oh, yeah, I get it, so it's no big deal. But yeah, so it's okay. But who knows, man? I keep hoping that somewhere there'll be a photo show up where he's wearing the Emerge shirt.
And he's just like, oops.
Yeah, but
and he's like, low-key, pointing at the shirt, just like, hey,
I'm sure he's got his own merch to plug, though. So
yeah.
I'm sure he'll sell that.
But like, yeah, it's just it's not even about having a belt. It's about having a company actually believe in you enough and trusting you enough to give you a belt. So far, the only championships I've ever held were in WCW. That's the only place I've held a championship. So it's like right now, it's like I just want to have a company put trust in me enough to let me be a champion. Preferably Emerge because that's where I base myself out of. I'd like another match with Sammy. That'd be really fun. I want to wrestle Chris Hero. That'd be really fun. Other than that, like, I just want to travel. And I know might be just cliche, or that might be just one of those things. But like, traveling is what I love about wrestling. I like meeting people. I like going out there. I like seeing the world. So that's my big list.
All right. Yeah. So you still have a lot of years left.
Yes.
And so. What is okay? I don't know. Everybody's end goal, right? Is you want to be at the top level, make enough money that you don't have to worry.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But what level would you get at where you think I'm good? If I don't accomplish any more necessarily, I feel like I've succeeded. Is it like a top tier indie type thing? Because I don't consider Ring of Honor. I think they're a step beyond indie now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But if you were to get an appearance for an AAW or a PWG or one of those top level indies, would you think I've made it? I'm really or no?
No.
If you got to a Ring of Honor level, would you think
the level where
at what point do you think you'd ever have a point where the drive would step back and say, "Hey, I'm here. I've done well," or would it never stop until
I think you said end goal, but like my thing with wrestling is I want to make a living off of it. And right now, all I would ever have to do is make $350 a month. That pays my rent, and then I just whatever else.
$350 a month?
Yeah.
Where the heck do you live?
I live in BFE called Spencer, Indiana.
God,
but you have to think.
Spencer.
You have to think. I have an apartment that I split with one of my buddies.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I have one roommate, and it's $700 flat fee a month.
Okay, so okay, that makes sense.
And so, like, if I made say $600 a month through being an indie wrestler, I could live off being a wrestler. That is my end goal. And like, hell yeah, I want to do AAW, and I want to do PWG, and I want to do AIW, and I want to do CZW, and I want to do all these companies, and especially Full Impact Pro. But my end goal is just to be able to say, even if it's for like a year or two or something, just be like, yeah, I made a living off wrestling. I made a living off doing something I love.
So that's your goal?
Yes.
you want to. That's your career. That's your job.
Yes.
To be a professional wrestler. Nothing
Yes.
else.
Exactly.
And if anything else is just cool moments that come along with that job.
Yeah. Just being able to say, I've been there. I've done that. I could say, hey, I've wrestled Sami Callihan. I could also say, hey, I've done a death match.
Now, are you aware of nowadays? Because nowadays there are a lot of guys that make livings.
Yes.
A lot more than there ever was before. And
There's a lot more companies.
right, yeah, right. And there's also the merchandise aspect, which
Yes.
you tap into.
I try to.
Yeah. And is that something? I mean, do you realize that you have to continue to do that, right? Because you have to supplement, right? Because
Yeah.
you sell shirts, that helps. That's just extra
Yeah.
pay. So.
A shit ton of shirts, too, I might add.
Right, but I mean, you look. I mean, I know they're on a different level, but you look at a team like the Young Bucks.
Yes.
I mean, those guys make 6 figures a year. It's not all
Wrestling.
off of wrestling. I mean, they sell so many, but they put out 50 million designs a year, and
Yeah.
but that's part of it, right? I mean, because it's weird. In this day and age, people buy shirts like crazy,
Yes, they do.
and so.
I
But I mean,
wouldn't
you've
know.
had a couple now, right? So.
4.
When you think, do you think about that too? That hey, I don't want to just go do the shows.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah.
You have to set yourself apart, right?
Funny story. The way I'm paying through my rent this month is through T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's how I'm paying through my rent.
Well, that works.
Yeah, that's because I have 2 jobs, but that helps with my wrestling. So like, oh yeah, and I also had put like a whole bunch of new money into new gear and whatnot. So I was like, shit, I need to make like a couple extra bucks. So I came out with my new I Am Infinite T-shirts. Made my rent in a span of like 2 shows.
Does Donnie make your shirts?
Yes, Donnie
Okay.
Tsunami makes my
So
shirts.
yeah, we'll plug Donnie.
Yep.
We've talked Donnie. It seems like Donnie's come up a lot in this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you need shirts, go hit up Donnie Tsunami.
Yeah, Don
Yeah.
Leachin on Facebook.
Yeah, good guy. He'll hit you up. He'll take care of you.
Great turnaround time and great prices. Definitely the guy to go to. Definitely, he makes my posters and my shirts. So if you need either one of those, he's the guy to hit up.
Okay. So
There goes that shameless plug.
there you go. He probably doesn't even listen to the podcast. I'll never know.
Oh, I'll tell him to make sure
you
he
need to tell him
listens.
he's got to listen because we talk about him.
Yeah. I was just say I said dirty things about him.
He'd believe that, right? All right. So I think that's about all I got.
Well, shit. But I want to
What else
actually
do I
take you back to Shigehiro.
Okay.
I actually
okay.
want to tell you a funny story because you
All
said
right.
we bonded over wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not how we first became friends. And I know this is
Okay.
weird. So we pick him
Is
up
this
out of...
the big Hero 6 stuff?
Yes.
Okay,
It
okay.
is the big hero shit story.
Okay.
So we pick him up outside Colt Cabana's house, and I'm like, I called him, and I was like, hey, I'm outside. He goes, okay, I'll be out 1 sec. Please don't leave. I just drove 4 hours to pick you up. Trust me, I'm not just going to leave at the drop of a dime. So, and I was like, and Chicago's hella busy, as it always is. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting for this Japanese dude. Well, he comes out, and he's my height. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this isn't that bad. Because if you ever seen any of Shige's promo photos, it's a big fucking dude. He's like mean mugging and whatever. And it's like this big bubbly guy comes walking out of Colt Cabana's apartment. I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right. So, and I was like, here, let me get your bags for you. And so he's like, okay. And he doesn't say much. And he gets in my car, and I'm like, oh shit, I just picked up a guy that's not going to talk to me at all. This sucks. And so we get out to the outskirts of Chicago, which the worst part about Chicago and Illinois in general is the freaking pay tolls.
Yes.
I spent $25 getting in
Yeah,
and getting out.
Yeah.
It is the
I've
worst.
been to Chicago so many times, and I always try to find a route, but
There
there's
is
no way around
there
it.
is a route actually.
Is there?
Yeah, it's you just go through the bottom level of Terre Haute-ish to Illinois, and you just
Okay.
go up. It's actually a lot better. So I pick him up, and we're going through the very last toll, and on my air freshener I have buttons because I'm a button fanatic. And he's siphoning through them, and it's Bob's Burgers and a couple zombie ones, and he gets to Baymax, and he goes, "Ooh, Baymax." I go, and mind you, I'm paying this lady. I go, "What?" And I was like, and he has a button with Baymax, and he's up in my face. He goes, "Baymax, Big Hero 6." I go, "Oh shit, son, this is what we're gonna bond over in this car trip." So we started talking about Big Hero 6, and then I believe "Girlfriend" by Avril Lavigne came on the radio, and he looks at me with this huge smile, and I start singing it, and he starts dancing in the car, and he's just humming to it because he knows very little English, and he takes a Twitter video and posts it on Twitter and tags me in it. I get 28 followers right off that. I'm like, oh shit, okay, whatever. And so, like, I didn't know, and, like, we started, like, talking, and, like, as we would pass, I would say the correct word, and he would say what it was. And then he would say the Japanese word for it. And so, like, we would do car, and we would do truck, and we would do tree, and, you know. And then we started, like, finding very little words that we could piece together. Jonathan crashed, like, asleep, like, an hour into it. So it's a 3-hour trip. I'm awake with the Japanese dude, and he has his phone translating what we cannot converse. So we're trying to converse, and he would, like, think about it, and then would put it into his phone if he couldn't come up with the correct answer. And, you know, me and him just talked about life. We didn't talk about wrestling. We just talked about, you know, Japan, and then, like, why he came to America. And he's like, when we had, like, an hour to go, and I was tired, and he was just like, man, he goes, I like wrestling. He's like, I want to wrestle Eddie Kingston, and I want to wrestle Chris Hero. He's like, that's what I came down here to do. He's like, because the match may not happen in Japan. And he's like, I'm coming out here to learn, and, you know, I'm like, okay. So we just bonded over Big Hero 6 at first. Then Avril Lavigne. Then we bonded over Psycho Killer, the Talking Heads song. Tommaso Ciampa's theme song. That came on, and he started singing it. He knew that song word for word. Out of anything like American, he knew Psycho Killer, and he would sing it in my car. This is the first time I ever met him. I was like, this guy's awesome. Like, I've never met somebody that's like just super relaxed. And Shigeru Irie, I don't know if you ever saw him live. That is a scary dude once he gets in wrestling. Like, when we had the 3-way match with him, mind you, we're in the back, but right before the match, and he's all bubbly and huggy, whatever. Like, hey, buddy, we go have fun. Okay, cool. We got out there. And it's like a completely different person. He's flexing, and it just yells, almost like, what the fuck happened to my friend? Like, what happened? So, like, after that car trip, you know, he never reverted to me as Cole, because that's how I introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm Cole. And then I was like, my name's Joey. And he goes, Joey. Okay. So he only called me Joey, and, like, he called everybody else by their wrestling name, which was really funny to me. Well, then all of a sudden, we started talking, and he goes, me, Corey Storm, and Jonathan decided to go take him go-karting. Oh, gosh. Which was the best idea I've ever had. This is the day, like 3 days after we picked him up, and we're like, screw it, we're going to show this guy what America's all about. We're going to go take him motherfucking go-karting. And so we go to take him go-karting, and he had a video call with somebody, and, like, whoever was on the phone asked who we were. He goes, Jonathan, my friend. Corey, my friend. And he looked at me and he goes, Joey, my best friend. And I lost my shit. I was like, oh, shit, son. So I was right in Jonathan Corey's face. And we just bonded over it, like, the little things. And then we, like, loved wrestling. So it was, like, the little things that always lead into wrestling. And that's what life is to me is life always leads into wrestling. Like, whether it be bullshit drama in real life, like, you can escape through wrestling. Or, like, you know what I mean? Wrestling is my outlet. It's what I've always had. Yep. Even getting bullied in high school and getting made fun of and, you know, whatever. I've always had wrestling. You can never lose something that became your whole life, no matter how hard you try. Oh. I've tried to lose you, though, Dave. I'm not going to lie about that.
No one wants to lose me.
You don't retweet me at all.
What?
Shit, I don't know. I'm just fucking with you.
Do you have Twitter?
Yeah, I do have Twitter, actually. I know it's surprising, but I have Twitter. You know, like, I actually use it nowadays. I used to just have a Twitter under my, like, shoot stuff, and I was like, oh, let me tag you in wrestling. I'm like, don't. I want to have something that's my own personal life, and now I'm just at that point where I'm like, more people know me through wrestling. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. So I have nothing that's not related to wrestling anymore, and it's kind of saddening.
No, that's all right.
It's not
okay to be
sad.
known by something.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Right.
But I just don't. I love wrestling. That's what I want to be associated with. But I don't want to be just, oh, he's a wrestler and that's it. Like, I want to be like, yeah, you know, he's a good guy, and you know what I mean. Like, I just don't want to be defined by something, but I don't want to be defined by something, but I want to be associated with it. Does that make sense?
Sure. Right. Man, this has got Dr. Philish all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm a very deep person. These are welcome to my mind at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, just breaking down my life. Wondering.
Do you terrorize Jonathan and Sage on the car rides with this stuff? Do they?
No, like, so.
So these are guys that I hope to have on the show at some point. So
Yes.
Tell us a funny car ride story with these guys.
Oh shit.
Just one.
There's a lot.
Tell us one that maybe no one's heard outside of you
heard.
guys.
All right, so New Jersey trip. It's me, oh, actually, no. I got it. First time, my first real car ride, going to Atlanta for AWE tryout. It's in the first car, we had to take 2 separate cars, which was horrible because we did not have a car that could fit 6. We had to take 2 cars that in 3 each. It was Trip Cassidy, Percy Davis, Dale Patrick in the first car. So it was a vet car. Then it was Sage, Mance, and I in the third car, in Sage's car. Well, for those who do not know, like Sage at one point was a vet tech or something. It was something with pets. Yeah. He was a veterinarian or something. And so, like, he's very stingy, like, when it comes to, like, littering and all that stuff. So we're on the car ride there, and so all of a sudden, somebody throws something out of the vet car, and we're following them. And I'm driving at this point, and Gage looks, like, out and just looks pissed. And he's like, it was one piece of paper, and Dale ended up being the one throwing it out. And Gage is like, what the fuck? So, and then, like, 2 seconds later, another piece of paper. And Gage is like, why are you doing this? And they throw a cup out. And Gage is like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, it looks like somebody just wadded up like 1,000 paper balls and threw it out the damn window. And Gage starts rocking his chair. What the fuck? Why are you doing this? And then Gage is like, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers. And he sends them on the group chat and goes, really, guys? And Dale's like, sorry, I had to throw out toilet paper. And I'm like, oh.
So what's Mance saying during all this? Because Mance has got to be just egging him on.
No, Mance wasn't egging him on.
No?
This was at the time because Mance never really broke out of his shell until like right around this period. I think he did the Atlanta show, and then he went to New Jersey for Vicious Outcast Wrestling, I think, with Tripp the next weekend. And I guess he opened up to Tripp and became like, because I guess Mance was really shy during training. And then like he had his third match with us down at AWE, went on this trip with Tripp. And then he came back as fucking Mance Warner, big dog, the king of big dog style. You know what I mean? Like, so like Mance was actually really quiet and conservative, and he's just like laughing. He's like, oh, in the back seat because Mance didn't drive on the way down at all. It was mainly me and Gage.
Thankfully, he came out of his shell, or we wouldn't have our weekly Warner's wisdoms here on the show.
God. Mance is the funniest guy.
Because no matter who I interview and what I do, that's the most talked about thing is whatever Mance says on the show.
Well, I don't blame him. It's big doggy. You can't really beat Mance when he gets on his rambles. So, like, that's a really fun story. And I want to tell the story about Jonathan, but I don't know if it's too far. And it's not that bad, but it's like one of those, really, dude? Like, so we're on our way to pick up Shiggy.
Does his dad know the story?
No. It's nothing bad.
Is he going to piss his dad off?
Maybe because his dad's white. Jonathan's half Mexican, for those who don't know. So, like, it's a white joke, I guess. So, you know, Jonathan was ragging me on, and I go, Jonathan, I will crash this car into a tree. And he goes, there you go, Cole. Talk about that white people shit killing people. That's what we're talking about. Oh. And I was like, oh, my God. Because this was, like, right around, I forget, like, what murder this was. It was a white dude killing, like, somebody else, and, like, it was, of course, very controversial. And Jonathan pulled that, and I was just like, holy shit. Like,
see, sometimes I have to have Jonathan on the show, and I'll ask him.
Yeah, you have to ask Jonathan. So now when I go on, like, one of my rampages where I tell people, I'm going to crash this car into a tree, kill Saul. Oh, I aim a tree for right free. He'll always look at me and goes, there's Cole with that white people shit again. So it's just like, man.
Maybe we should wrap on that note.
Should we wrap on that note?
That's kind of a
like,
weird
that's
note.
A low note.
That's like an Empire Strikes Back. Let's end on a downer kind of thing.
I guess, if that's what you want to end on, man, like, this is your show.
Let's see. We usually follow the interviews up with Warner's Wisdom, so that'll bring it back up, right? All right. So tell us your social media for people that want to.
All right.
Your public social media, the stuff that you don't mind.
Yes.
The wrestling fans to follow you on.
Which basically means you can follow me on anything but my Tumblr, because that's the only thing I got, and I post sad, depressive stuff on that. So you can follow me on Snapchat at Cole Radrick, no underscore, no nothing, just Cole Radrick, plain and simple. You can add me on Facebook as Cole Radrick. Do not try to add me on my real account because you'll usually get denied. I just like to try to separate my life. You can add me on Twitter and on Instagram at capital Cole Radrick. Cole, capital C, Radrick, capital R.
I thought you already said Instagram. No, you said Snapchat.
I said Snapchat.
Okay,
it's Instagram and Twitter is Cole Radrick HGK, and the capitals are CRHGK.
So what's HGK?
Hustle, grind, kill. You know, you hustle for an opportunity, you grind for that opportunity, and then when you get that opportunity, you kill it.
You're like a psycho-ass John Cena.
Damn straight.
You're going to start wearing jean shorts. And
God. If I do, Dave, feel free to shoot me.
I may have to because I don't like jean shorts.
You don't? You know, I don't care what people say. Like, John Cena's like the man.
No, I don't have a problem with Cena. You know, it's okay for his gimmick. I'm just saying in real life, I don't like jean shorts.
Oh, I can totally see you rocking jean shorts. Totally.
Never happened.
I'm going to tell Monica to buy you jean shorts.
She will.
She will.
I'll come home and all my jeans will be cut off.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord. My wife listens to this, too, so I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Your wife likes me a lot better than some wrestlers. I hope you do realize that. And I don't know why, but she does like me for some reason.
I don't know. She likes kids.
19.
Wait, what time is it? Is it his bedtime? No, I don't
Oh,
play that joke.
we're going to go with that shit. Okay.
No, that's the crowd thing. I don't do that anymore.
See, I get it. I look like a 10-year-old. Like, I get it. But I think I'd like to...
Hey, just take the heat however you can get it.
I get that heat, daddy.
So do you ever portray a face very often out there anywhere? Because
I'm more of a face now than anywhere else. The only... I think...
like an IWA... Do they
I'm
even
face.
work? Are you?
Face IWA, face WCWO, face and New Wave, like, and those are my main companies, and I have my off companies. But like, I'm not a heel anywhere but Emerge, and like I think of myself as a better heel than a face because I'm never like, go team.
It's easier to be heel.
Yeah,
That's what I always told people. It's easier to make people hate you.
And
make them like you.
And I connect better with my heel side because I am an introvert. I don't really let's go. I don't have that fire, but like when it comes down to breaking down somebody, that's where I'm better at because I can take it slow and I can do whatever. I can be methodical and I can do it smartly, and I don't have to do 100,000 crazy things to get a pop. So I wish I was a heel more, but you got to go with the cards you're dealt with. I'm very likable, and I have a good face.
And so humble.
Face. So
I'm very likable.
I am very likable. Oh, well, besides a few people that don't like me, but other than that.
We're not going to go back to the ex, are we?
No, I don't even talk to her anymore. I try not to. And
he's bringing it back on a down note again.
I'm not. I'm not bringing it down. You're the one that brought her back.
You said there's a few people that don't like you. I suspect that she was in that group.
I was talking in wrestling.
No. Well, there's always assholes.
Oh, God, there's always assholes. Plenty.
Most of them are my age, but thankfully I'm not.
Well, the other thing, there are some kids still that are
That's
like
true.
people my age, which I don't have a problem with most of them. I have my group, which is the Kentucky Three, which is Myron or Brother Reed, for those who don't know, Mickey Muscles, Corey Storm, then Jonathan, Sean, and I. Like, that's our core group, and Calvin Tankman, which Emerge booked them. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and get that one out of the way because Boss Man can't really yell at me for that one. But like those
I don't get a vote on that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But those are like my core group of guys that I hang out with, and there's going to be a lot more traveling in 2017, and so those are like the guys.
Are you planning to get licensed in Kentucky?
I'm planning to get licensed in Kentucky. Going to get licensed in West Virginia. I'm going to get. I think New York's. You're about to have to get a license.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't even know where you have to license anymore. I mean Kentucky, obviously, because it's nearby. But
I think Arkansas, you have to get a license.
These states all have a lot in common, it seems like. Kentucky, Arkansas.
West Virginia.
Yeah, my Lord.
And so it's like, because...
Bet you don't have to get a license in California. You can do whatever you want out there.
I wish. And I do have friends that outside of wrestling that do travel a lot. And they always say, hey, if you want to travel with us, feel free. Like, I could go to California on somebody else's dime because they just want somebody to drive the car with them. And I'm always thinking, man, what if I just
go and just hit somebody up?
That's what I'm looking at doing.
There's got to be places that will.
Sure. I have a couple friends down there, so I might be able to use something. Gavin Glass is a good buddy of mine that's up in New York. Who, if anybody in the Midwest listening to this, if you want a good-looking young guy that has six-pack abs and somehow looks like Zack Sabre Jr., Gavin Glass is your guy. He's a really good dude. So, he's my connection up in New York, and, I'm hoping, me and him can scratch each other's back so I can get up there and he can come down here more often because he's a really good guy.
We don't need to tell personal dressing room stories scratching each other. We don't need to do that either. All right, let's wrap. That's the note we're going to wrap on right there.
Well, all right, whatever. I was going to say how...
Cole Radrick making self-satisfaction motions. Good thing this is not a visual thing. Well, thank you, Mr. Radrick, for coming on. We talked for a long time. You set the standard high. Most guys, it's like 20 minutes. I think we blew that out of the water. How long do we go, Ike?
An hour.
We have talked an hour and 3 minutes.
Let's go an hour and 4.
I think we're getting there. So
We're halfway there.
we'll revisit it here in a couple months when you'll have more stories to tell.
Yeah, I definitely want to do more of these podcasts, especially in person, because that's the best one. Because like when it's on the phone, I can't really like see how somebody's reacting to it. So like I could be telling a story.
We may have to make Cole Radrick a 2-parter.
A what?
A 2-parter. We'll make you a 2-part.
Let's make it like a 4.
Oh man,
Because I live an hour away. Like,
yeah, but my dinner's like 10 minutes away.
well, let's go get dinner
I'm
and then we
food-driven.
come back.
Actually, dinner's probably not ready yet.
Well, I think there's like a B-Dubs nearby here, so that's where I'm going.
Yeah, go hit that one 46.
It's on the way
Listen,
home.
no one knows who that is. Or where that is. What's 46? What's that mean?
Like, if Eric Cannon can get a Pabst Blue Ribbon sponsorship for being like constantly wearing like PBR stuff, I want to get a beat up sponsorship because that's my shit.
That'd be like the Mance Warner sponsorship, wouldn't it? Oh wait, no, he drinks light beer.
He doesn't drink a certain brand of light beer. He drinks light beer as a general. But
I don't like light beer.
I do like Larry's.
Yeah.
Larry's and light beer, Mance Warner. Big time.
Speaking of Mance Warner, he's up next with Warner's Wisdoms. Thank you, Cole, for coming on.
Not a problem, man.
Check out Geek Stew for all your geek and wrestling news and podcasts. Visit geek-stew.com. Gather round for life lessons from professional wrestling's own Mance Warner. It's Warner Wisdom.
All right, people, we are back with another installment of Warner's Wisdom. This is your favorite wrestler of mine, me, the king of big dog style, the medium-sized man beast, Mance Warner. I got a lot of nicknames. I pay a lot of bills with what I do, baby. On this one, I'm just going to tell y'all a little bit about what you do when you're out here wrestling, man. This is for the kids, the greenies. It's more of a question than advice on this week. It's a question to y'all. See, right now it's 7 in the morning. I pulled over in a gas station and slept for about 2 hours. I got dry blood on my head. I got a staple on the back of my head. I went to war tonight, but I paid me some bills, man. And I had a damn good time doing it. Now, this for the greenies and new kids. Something to think about. Do you really want to be in this industry, man? Think about it. Not what do you want to take from it, but do you want to be in it, and what do you want to give back to it, man? Jesus Christ. So I'm sitting here thinking on Warner's Wisdom, what wisdom I could give you. So, as I sit here and bestow my knowledge onto you, stop thinking about what you want to do and what you could put into this, man. That's what it's all about. What you could put into this. Are you willing to sleep in your car, very uncomfortable? Are you willing to drive these hours? Are you willing to bleed? That's it, man. That's my wisdom for this week, is a question to you. Sit there and really think about it. Because if you ain't wanting to do that, get on out right now. Quit it. Quit coming to these shows. Don't get into the business and waste nobody's time. If you don't want to put in the mileage, sleeping in cars, sleeping in gas stations, busting your ass, bleeding, sweating, and paying them light bills, drinking them light beers, and just be done with it. Because you're going to waste everybody's time. That is my wisdom for this week. I love y'all. I'm just kidding. I hate y'all. Enjoy some beers. Until next week or installment or whatever it may be, This is number 5. We'll get number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 28, whatever it may be.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. How about that Mance Warner?
Mance Warner, man. I don't know. He's something. I was a little too philosophical for my taste. But.
Apparently sitting at a gas station after sleeping a couple hours after a show. It was actually after an IWA Mid-South show where some kind of staple match he had. I can't remember what happened, but yeah. I'd like to blame it on blood loss, but he's always like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it sounds like something he'd do. Sounds something like real grungy he'd do.
Yeah.
Like sit in a gas station and eat like burritos or some shit,
Probably.
you know. Drinking light beer and then driving or something.
But he does make a good point. Hey, if you're in this business or thinking about getting in this business, don't do it for yourself. Ask what you got to give the business. What you can do to better the business.
Who was it said, ask not what you can do for this country, or not ask what the country can do for you, but what you can do for this country?
JFK.
Is that JFK? Okay, I was making sure. I didn't want to say something wrong. He's like the JFK of wrestling.
Mance is?
I guess. If JFK was a raging lunatic who drank shitty beer.
He might have been.
You know, yeah, that might have been the reason he died.
We won't go into that.
I'd say this is like some weird conspiracy stuff.
Wow. But it is good points. And, hey, what about that interview with Cole? What a guy, huh?
Cole Radrick's an interesting person.
He's on the rise. Only been in this business a little over a year already. This Saturday, November 5th, you can check him out again at IW Mid-South in the Ted Petty Invitational Tournament. That should be good. It's going to be a good tournament. Very proud of Cole for making it. Very cool thing.
Isn't it Sammy Callahan and
Chris Hero
going to be there?
Yeah.
Cole Radrick, of course.
Yeah, going to be a good show. Going to be a good tourney. Look them up on Facebook, IWA Mid-South. Find some information. Go visit them. And if you're not in the area, hey, go somewhere else. Just support the independents. Support an indie wrestling group near you, wherever it may be. And when you're out there, buy some shirts from these guys. Help them pay for their gas money. They're out there, as Mance Warner would say, making towns and working the road.
That's how it goes.
So help them out. Show their love. Show your support. They give it all to you. Give a little bit back.
I do got to say, with that Cole Radrick interview, that beginning part where he's talking about when he first got into wrestling, and that guy just kind of shafted him.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and I realized that now, because after you said it, I went home, I thought about it, and I'm like, man, there really are that many shitty people in this world that do that.
But it's that way in every business.
Yeah.
There's con men and sharks everywhere. You just got to be careful.
I feel bad for him, though, but I'm glad that he overcame that.
It all worked out.
It's a true underdog story.
That's why, wow. That's why you just got to find the right guy. That's why when you're going to get trained, go to a legitimate training facility school. Don't just hit up local Bob that runs at the flea market that you've never heard of in your life that says he's been in WWE for 13 years and you don't know who he is. And don't hand him the money, no matter how bad your dream is. If you want it bad enough, you just travel a little further and find a legitimate facility. They're out there. There's good ones.
Yep, definitely.
Good ones. Speaking of good ones, this weekend coming up, the business also bids farewell to Billy Rock and the School of Rock.
I heard about
Final
that.
show. Billy will be missed. Definitely will miss the School of Rock because he has produced so many talents, including Mance Warner.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't Mance train with him?
He did. Former guest Trip Cassidy.
Yeah, that's true.
All kinds of guys. Heidi Lovelace, who just recently had a WWE tryout.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So
she's pretty good.
all kinds of talent. Billy will be missed. So on behalf of the Dave Dynasty Show, thank you, Billy Rock, for all your years. And I'm sure he won't disappear. We'll still hear from Billy. He'll still be out and about. But, yeah, so that's the end of that. So, yeah, I think we're rambling again. I don't even know why.
Hey, it happens. You know, you think about it and you get sad because you're just like the passing of a legend. Now, he's not dying or anything, but, you know, the passing of a legend, the passing of a school. You know,
Yeah.
it's like...
There's no reason to be sad, though. This is a
Yeah.
boom period for it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's cool stuff happening, good shows everywhere. It's a good time to be a fan.
Especially the independents. Like, we keep stressing that, but, man, the independents is where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raw and the SmackDown, they're great. The WWE is great, but you don't see the true fire until you watch an independent
There's
show.
nothing like being there at a show. Go see a show. Go see a good show.
Yeah.
Don't, like we said, there's comment sharks. You know what? Don't give them money. Don't even go to the shows. And just for the record, if you see a local flyer, that's not really the Doink the Clown from the WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't support the con man. That's my stance.
When I was younger, I always thought that those were real.
Don't support the con man. Go support a legitimate promotion, legitimate talent, and
no gimmicks.
Well, they have gimmicks.
Well,
as long
yeah,
as
but
it's
none of
professional
those
and
BS
well done.
gimmicks. You know what I mean?
Not the rip-off guys.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we have Hacksaw Jim Duggan down here. Some weird dude with a beard and 2x4.
Hacksaw Tim Duggan.
Tim Duggan, yeah. Jim's cousin.
You have no idea back in the 80s and 90s how bad that was. Oh, my gosh. Everybody was somebody's cousin or something, It was, oh, my God.
With like one letter changed in their name.
It was, oh, jeez.
Did they actually do it with Hacksaw Tim Duggan?
I don't know.
So was that like after him and the Sheik? Didn't him and the Sheik get busted and got kicked out? Was that after that happened?
That would have been great. I wish there was a video of that.
The Bronze Sheik and Hacksaw Tim Duggan.
Yeah. The Bronze Sheik.
The Bronze Sheik. Hey, I got jokes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Anyway, so go out there, support the independents, support the good groups. If you can't get out to one, hey, there's all kinds of them that run pay-per-views and et cetera, et cetera. Buy a DVD, order shirts. Hey, it's easy to get this stuff. So support them, help them out, keep them in business. Support the good. Let's weed out the bad, and let's improve the industry.
Absolutely.
That's my 2 bits. I still think I'm going to do a podcast sometime where I'm just going to give my dissertation on all the stuff that I think can help grow the industry. Not like it matters, but
yeah, I think we should do a podcast where we also talk about just like whatever about wrestling, because I know we were wanting to talk about conspiracy theories about wrestling and just all those random things.
You want to discuss wrestling conspiracy theories, huh?
I think we should. I think we should do a good podcast where we get like a good guest on here, maybe get Cole on here, maybe somebody else, and just talk about stuff. Just talk about the weird things in wrestling.
Maybe there are lots of weird things in wrestling.
Yeah, I've heard some weird stories, especially about Jonathan Bradshaw, Layfield. I've heard some weird stuff about him.
Well, just call him JBL. Why do you have to say that?
I don't know. I thought about it, then I said his name.
That's like saying Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Wait, just say Triple H.
Hunter. I liked his when he was like, what was it? His gimmick back in the day where he's
he
like
was the
royalty.
snooty guy.
Yeah,
the curtsy and all
dude, that was awesome. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was something. So I think that's all we got for this week, though.
Yes, I think it is.
Good stuff. Hey, next week will be a good episode, though, because I have an interview lined up with Johnny Idol from CMLL.
Oh, yes. Straight from Mexico.
That should be great. Yeah, that's right. I gotta call into Mexico. It should be great. He's wrestling for the oldest wrestling promotion in the world. CMLL, 83 years strong. Johnny Idol doing business down there. That'll be fun. Gonna ask him what it's like to be as outsider in this Mexican lucha libre world. Should be cool.
I wonder what the rates are for the international call.
Well, on Skype, it's not that much.
Is it? Okay. I was just curious.
It works okay.
All right.
I don't know.
Shouldn't you know these things?
It's in the budget. We're good.
It's on the budget. What budget?
I don't pay you much. I can afford an international call.
True. You don't pay me anything.
I pay you what you're worth.
Oh, nice burn.
Yeah. Where can they find you on Twitter? That's the only thing you give. So what's your
only
Twitter?
thing on Twitter. I might consider making my Facebook public. I might, maybe. But you can find me at the Pint Size Beast.
It's just at.
I was trying to get them not to follow me. God, I don't want
Follow
these.
him.
I don't want these idiots on there.
Follow Pint Sized Beast. Send him lots of pictures of your junk.
See, like if we do that, like I'll probably get kicked off Twitter.
Not they DM it to you.
Oh, no, that's true. I'm just not gonna look at my DMs. Slide in my DMs.
Except for when you're in the bathroom. Slide in your DMs.
Slide in your DMs.
Should you say that when you're talking about people sending you pictures of your junk?
That's what they say.
Sigmund Freud could take a vacation with you.
With me?
Yeah.
What did I do?
On everything you're saying.
Slide into your DMs. That's. Have you never? No. Have you ever seen? No. That's like a saying.
And you laughed at me for saying swag.
That's a saying of the kids.
It
Slide
shouldn't
into
be
your
a
DMs.
saying.
Hey, I didn't make it.
But you're encouraging it.
Some neckbeard on a Facebook somewhere made it.
Neckbeard?
It's another term.
My gosh.
I think you're showing your age a little bit though.
I do not care.
Let me guess. You need to go drink some. What's that one stuff that makes you like throw up?
What's that one thing that makes me want to throw up? I think that's called listening to you.
No, it's like a drink. It's like you drink it and like makes you throw up.
I don't drink anything that makes me throw
It's
up.
like an oil or something like that. I don't know. There's like it's old timey oil. I had it in my head too.
Are you talking about castor oil?
Yeah, castor oil. Drink some castor
Why
oil.
would I drink castor oil?
I don't know. You're old.
I don't even own castor
Need
oil.
some Ensure. Keep your
No.
bones strong, so you don't fall and break your hip.
We're gonna go now because if it is a well, you know what I'm trying to say now. If there was an act of violence recorded on a podcast, it can be submitted for evidence. So we're going to make sure we end this thing before we go any further.
If you do not hear from me from the next podcast,
We will throw a party.
you will know it was him.
Next week, Ike Isaacs replaced by that trained monkey I spoke of.
A trained monkey. What's his name? Bozo?
It's going to be Marcel.
Oh, Marcel. Okay.
Yeah, named after the Friends monkey.
I got you. Hey, and friend reference.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this week. We're done. No more.
That's it.
We're going to wrap it up.
Fin.
Remember, you can check us out, DaveDynasty.com. There's the links to all the social media, all the episodes of the show. And thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing. And we will see you next week. I am Dave Dynasty.
And I am Ike Isaacs.
And we are out of here. Thank you.